Before we get into today's Top 5 Friday video, I just wanted to make a brief little announcement. I think it's kind of cool, but essentially as a movie collector, I have a ton of Blu-rays and DVDs that come with digital copies. I never redeem them, they just expire. So I figured, why do I keep wasting these things? Why not at least give them away to the viewers of my YouTube channel? And I figured what better way than to give them away in Top 5 Friday videos. So going forward, at least for the time being, every single Top 5 Friday video will have a digital copy code hidden within it. So I figured it might drive you guys to watch the video all the way through, considering I could put the code at the end of the video, or you guys can just skim through and find the code. Either way, I don't care. You guys can do whatever you want. The code will be in the video, and whoever redeems it, just please drop a comment down below so others aren't wasting their time trying to redeem it, because that's no fun. And yeah, so today's video, I will hide a copy of Hellraiser Judgment in the video. So you guys look throughout the video, it'll probably just flash on the screen very briefly, maybe in small text because it'll be funner for me, but Hellraiser Judgment is actually not even out yet, so this film you'll actually be able to redeem today. The movie comes out tomorrow, so you'll be able to see it a day before release date, which is pretty cool. So somewhere in this video will be a copy of Hellraiser Judgment, and at the end of the video I'll announce what digital copy I'm giving away next week. So, you know, obviously the best way to get a chance to win the digital copy is to see the video first. I believe there's like a bell next to the subscribe button that you can hit that kind of turns on notifications and allows you guys to get notified when I post a video. So yeah, I mean, I figured that'd be a fun way, make it a little bit more engaging for you guys, and you know, free digital copies. I don't know, I mean, I'm not interested in them, but I know a lot of people are, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. And yeah, let's get to the video. What's up guys, JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another Top 5 Friday, but this time it's on Monday. Yeah, so this is a Top 5 Friday taking place on Monday. Last week was just so brutal for me. I was so busy, I had things planned, I just did not get time to record a video and edit a video, obviously. So I just kind of pushed it off, and I figured I would cover it this week, early in the week, and then bring you guys another Top 5 Friday at the end of the week. So that's what we're doing. So 2 Top 5 Fridays this week, and today's Top 5 Friday is kind of an impromptu Top 5 Friday. We actually decided this sort of a few weeks ago. This wasn't initially part of our lineup of Top 5 Fridays. I thought, hey, with Valentine's Day coming up, we should do a Top 5 romantic horror films. And we kicked around the ball a little bit about, well, should we do a Top 5 horror films to watch on Valentine's Day with your significant other? And then we were like, nah, let's not do that, because it would be filled with like the 3 Valentine's Day horror films and then 2 other films, so everybody would have the same list. So we decided to go with romantic horror films, which surprisingly there are not that many of. I mean, there are a lot of horror films that deal with relationships. I mean, every damn teen slasher is involving a girl and her boyfriend and her friend and her boyfriend, you know. But I tried to limit these picks, and that brings me to my really only rules this week, is I limited my picks to films where a core plot point in the film was actual relationship romance. So I stayed away from just, you know, your classic traditional boy-girl survive at the end slasher film type romance, and focus more on films that romance actually had heavily involvement with the plot. So that's pretty much my only rules for this one, and this video is going to be a little bit shorter today. So with that said, let's jump right into it. Coming in at number 5, we have 2014's Spring. Now this is a film that I do not own, and I'm actually kind of mad that I don't own it. I remember when it initially got released on DVD, everybody was kind of talking about it. It had a little splash in the water, and everybody was kind of interested in it. And this film is probably one of the best examples of a romantic horror film. It's actually very heavy on the romance and a little light on the horror. This character basically loses his mother, gets into a fight, and decides to pick up and move to Italy for a vacation to kind of get his mind off things. There he meets a girl, he begins to date this girl, has sex with this girl, begins to fall in love with this girl, finds out secrets about this girl, and then madness and chaos ensues, and the film actually wraps up in what could come off as extremely cheesy, but I swear to you, it doesn't. It comes off very beautiful, and the romantic angle works very well. Spring is a really cool movie that is kind of very based in a certain type of work by somebody, but I don't want to get into that because it'll kind of give away the entire concept of the movie that's supposed to be a reveal, so I'll refrain from doing that. But the love angle in this film is actually very effective. Coming in at number 4 is a movie that I seen for the first time and only have seen one time a couple of years ago when we were doing the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast, and we were focusing on the year of 2002. And this film actually made my top 10 list, and I believe actually ended up in our Hall of Fame. And that film is, of course, May. I have May here on DVD, and this DVD isn't really anything special. There's a commentary on it put out by Lionsgate. May is directed by Lucky McKee, starring Angela Bettis, who is just a weird, awkward, cringy character. Very Carrie-esque. She has like a lazy eye that she's uncomfortable with. She just is very reserved and you can tell has kind of been pushed down most of her life. She begins to form a bond with this guy Adam that she meets, who's kind of a cool dude. He's like into like Suspiria and stuff like that, and he likes her because she is weird. And she's like, wow, somebody actually likes me for my weirdness. And then he kind of realizes that she's not just like weird, like cool, like horror movie fan, like just gothy, like weird chick. She's like actually pretty goddamn weird. And he begins to push her away, only May does not want to be pushed away because she is fallen in love with this Adam dude. And that's basically your plot. I mean, it is a fantastic movie. It works on all angles. You feel bad for this character, and you just kind of totally get, you know, everybody's been in the situation where they feel, you know, ostracized. So May. Coming in at number 3 is actually a film that I recently fell in love with. I didn't like this film, by the way, pun intended. I didn't like this film growing up. I thought it was just okay, but over the past couple years, I've actually watched it a few times, and I really like it. And that film is Return of the Living Dead Part 3 from the year 1992. I have it on the Vestron Blu-ray here. This is actually a very, very cool release. Uncut for the first time. If you've never seen this release, pick it up for sure. It's awesome. So Return of the Living Dead 3, directed by Brian Yuzna, follows two characters, teenagers who are madly in love with each other. They end up crashing their motorcycle. The female dies, but the lead male character knows that his dad is working on some experimental government stuff. It just so happens that it's the trioxin chemical that brings dead people back to life. He brings his chick back to life, but she comes with a little bit of problems. She has a hunger for brains, and the little twist on this version is that she kind of begins to mutilate herself and do all this self-mutilation to kind of deal with the hunger so that she doesn't eat her boyfriend, which is kind of a neat little angle there. This movie is a blast, honestly. Like, it has a very low budget feel to it. It looks very low budget. Some of the set pieces are kind of fake looking, but the charm to it just works for me. And the gore is outstanding in this one. There's plenty of gore. It's a cool movie. The lead female character is absolutely gorgeous. I don't even like redheads, and I absolutely am in love with this woman. It just has tons of cool stuff in it, honestly. And I've recently became a huge fan of it, and it is absolutely one of the best films that you can watch on Valentine's Day. Return of the Living Dead 3, awesome romantic horror film. Coming in at number 2, we have probably one of the best examples of a love story in a horror movie, a twisted love story that is, and we are talking about 1987's Hellraiser. And I have Hellraiser here in the Scarlet box set put out by Arrow Video. An amazing box set. And I gotta say, guys, one of the reasons that I didn't record a video on Friday is because I had to watch all of the Hellraiser movies last week, and we recorded our podcast last night, so check that out. It's actually dropping on Valentine's Day, which is absolutely perfect, and I'm not going to say a ton about it. We had Hellraiser on the top 5 last week, I believe, but I'll just say this. Please check out the podcast that comes out on Wednesday, because it is one of the probably best discussions you will hear about the original Hellraiser, as well as all of the sequels, including the newly released Judgment. There is a huge romantic angle in Hellraiser 1, and Julia and Frank's relationship is so twisted and dark that she's willing to kill for him, and you know, she's cheating on her husband, and it is a love affair. And it is a dark love romantic story, and it's perfect with all the bloody goodness for Valentine's Day. We have actual bloody hearts. So, Hellraiser for number 2. Coming in at number 1, we have one of my favorite horror films of all time. I am talking about 2008's Let the Right One In. I have it here on DVD. There's nothing really special about this DVD. All it has is some deleted scenes put out by Magnet. Want to eventually upgrade to the Blu-ray because this film is so beautifully shot. Let the Right One In is a Swedish horror film, and it's heavy on the romance. It follows a 12-year-old little boy who meets a what seems like average 12-year-old little girl who lives next door to him. And he begins to form a bond with her, only we find out that she's actually not a 12-year-old little girl, and she might not even be a girl at all, and she isn't 12 years old, she's a goddamn vampire. And he begins to fall in love with her, and she begins to fall in love back. It is a very twisted sense of a romantic horror film. You know, you're dealing with adolescence here, but I tell you that it actually is extremely effective in that angle. Oscar, who is this lead character, is a complete outcast and is probably on the verge of doing something very bad, such as, you know, eventually murdering somebody. He's on a collision course for tragedy, and he meets this girl who might even be a little more tragic, and together they sort of bond. It really is just an amazing movie. It's shot so well. It handles vampires in a way that I haven't seen it done before for one of the oldest, if not the oldest, forms of movie monster to still kind of develop and sort of add to the mythology and answer some questions that have had vampires having previously established roles, actually kind of expanding on some of them and creating their own mythology. This movie is very good, and I highly recommend it for anybody who's never seen it. Definitely check it out. Alright guys, so that is my top 5 Friday this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a fun time making this list. As always, please let us know if you want us to do a specific top 5 Friday. Throw us out ideas. And also be sure to check back next week, because I will have another code in the video. I think I'll do It next week. I have a digital copy for the remake of It, or the new adaptation of It, and I'll hide that somewhere in the video. It'll be a little bit more sneaky next week. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.